Alright, so, guess I'm going to be the one introducing. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of consent age, I am here at the infamous Gallery Cinema here in New Jersey. That's Jersey. With the Blockbuster Chick, Diamanda Hagan, and of course your host here tonight, LC.
And we got the Omega holding that thing.
I'm filming!
Yes.
Yeah, we came to... Okay, we're down for Tromadance, and we decided to go see the Avengers because we would have our nerd cards taken if we didn't.
Yes.
And when we arrived, okay, on the way over, I noticed we were near Red Bank, New Jersey, which is... Where folks and all is set.
Yeah, bro.
Where clerks and all is set. And then I noticed when we arrived here, it's called the Galleria. I know the Galleria is mentioned in several Kevin Smith films, so I think this is the famous one from the movies. So we saw the Avengers in Kevin Smith's Galleria cinema. So, extra points, I think.
Yes.
But...
And we're only 6 miles away from the Quick Stop.
Yeah, we're thinking about going tomorrow when we meet up with Dodger of Zion. But we just saw the Avengers, and Omega knows very little about Marvel. Blockbuster Chick knows a bit more, Elsie knows a bit more, and I know more than them. So,
let's face it, everyone knows more than me, though.
I really liked it. Not the best film ever, but really, really worth the 6 years and the 5 movies to get there. It was the first time I'd ever seen what I really felt was super heroic characters actually beating the shit out of each other on screen, semi-really. Like, even in films where you got superheroes and supervillains fighting each other, except for like 1 or 2 moments in X-Men 3, it never came across as actual people, larger-than-life things beating the shit out of each other. This one it did. And special effects were fucking amazing. I enjoyed.
I agree. It started off slow, though. It started off very, very slow, but I understand they had to introduce all these characters, all these backstories. So, yeah, I understand because, obviously if you just seen this film, you wouldn't know anything, so they had to reintroduce all these characters. But about halfway through, it picked up, it got exciting. I say when Robert Downey Jr. showed up, because once that drunk bastard showed up on camera, it was fucking epic. But most importantly, it was directed by Joss fucking Whedon! Buffy, Joss, Angel Whedon! Fucking A+, 5-star! No stat!
I think you like the fact that it was Joss Whedon that directed.
Yes, I was a little pissed off that Buffy and fucking Angel didn't jump in at the end, though, to fucking fight the final battle.
Can't have it all.
And
she's crazy at it. Two stars, and they have Buffy or fucking Angel in it.
I'm sorry, the fact that the Mark Ruffalo is the best Hulk, in my opinion. I've seen the other 2 Hulks, and he just nailed the character down. He just held it back, and then just the way that he brought it in was just so...
What do you mean 2? You're forgetting Bill Bixby?
That one as well. Sure.
But,
but...
do you notice, voicing the Hulk, Lou Ferrigno.
I thought that, I just wasn't sure.
He's voiced the Hulk in the Edward Norton one, the Eric Bana one, the Hulk animated series from the 90s. And he, of course, played the Hulk in the 70s show, too. Lou fucking Ferrigno, who played Space Hercules in a movie I watched with Omega last week.
That's another thing I was disappointed. At the end, they should have had Bruce Banner just walking down the street with the, hitchhiking with the music playing. I was disappointed. That kind of disappointed.
Well, here's the thing. Omega here. I'm filming because I have no face, remember? So, this was kind of like... I've seen Iron Man 1, and I know basics of the rest of them. I'm not in the superhero fandom. I'm kind of like, about it. This movie was kind of like watching somebody play the video game of the movie. The characters were all super indestructible NPCs with no weaknesses, and witty lines, and incredible technology, and knew everything, and there was no real feeling of risk. I know that, the people they cared about were targeted, and the planet they loved were targeted, and things and stuff, but they were never actually brought low. The part of the hero's journey is the part where the hero is brought low and then has to rally for the end. And yeah, in the last 5 minutes before the, ending, which I'm not going to give away, because spoilers, yeah, okay, they get piled on, you see the slow motion, you hear the dramatic music, but what's really at risk? If any of them had ever shown any kind of weakness, it would have been a lot better. The characters that I liked best, I think, were Tony Stark and Bruce Banner because...
and Loki and...
Well, hold on, I'm getting to that. Okay. I'm getting to that. The guy that played Bruce Banner kind of reminded me of Tony Shalhoub, who had a really great little noodling, I'm just a scientist, leave me alone kind of thing going on. He and Tony Stark played off each other amazingly well because they were both the same brilliant mind with 2 dynamic opposite personalities. I also liked, Dark Link, because he had very few lines, which means he had very little time to annoy me and use, like, really good witticisms, like, guess what, I've got a writer following me, I'm just saying. No, he was just Dark Link with his quiver of arrows and just kind of struck poses, and that was really cool. Black Widow, I know that she's supposed to be important, but she kind of struck me as, I'm a post-feminist female protagonist, and I'm really tough, and I'm like Lara Croft, I'm just saying. And that was kind of stupid, and I didn't like Thor because he just strutted around and he had no weaknesses. He's a demigod, not a full god.
He's a full god. No, it's Chris Hemsworth.
No, he called him a demigod. No, he actually looked like a friend of mine, but we'll get into that later. And he was just, again, there was nothing borrowed, nothing risked. The reason I wanted Loki to win was he had some actual characterization. The scene with Loki and Thor, when they discuss Loki's motives, he looks like a sour cousin. He looks like a kicked puppy. He has burn, he has desire. One of the characters tells him that he has no commitment and he has no drive, but I think that's the opposite. The heroes had no drive. Nick Fury, I guess, is supposed to be important, but he was just Samuel L. Jackson as played by Samuel L. Jackson, because that's all Samuel L. Jackson does these days.
That looks like Samuel L. Jackson.
Playing a character that looked like Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah, I mean, I know that it's going to be really unpopular for me to say it, but here's the thing. I'm coming at it from outside of the comic book fandom. This is supposed to be the movie. I mean, this was described, I think critics said it was like the Star Wars of our generation. This is supposed to make me want to go out and buy all of those graphic novels, look up all the Wikipedias, find out everything I can about these characters. This is supposed to draw me, an outsider, in, but again, it just felt too indestructible. Oh, and Captain America was such a cunt. Oh my God. Oh, what a strutting post-war American cunt for someone that went under during the Second World War, before Americans got a lot of the attitude that we carry around today. And yeah, I'm very aware that he was supposed to bounce off Tony Stark because they're supposed to be the foils of America. You have, our rugged roots, and we'll take the suicide mission, and don't worry, sir, because we're clean cut and we always play the paladin and we talk about God. Was that a wasp? Oh, it was just a butterfly. And then you have Tony Stark, well, I'm trying clean energy because I don't sell weapons anymore, and I'm really awesome, and I have Starbucks every day, and I have witticisms and an iPhone, I'm just saying. And I know that they're supposed to be...
Tony Stark, so that's not Starbucks.
Well, you know what I mean. But they're supposed to be the two opposite parts of the American psyche, and it felt forced. Oh, God, it felt so forced.
I got the feeling you were misreading Captain America, that he's meant to be the biggest Boy Scout in the universe.
He's the guy that always wants to play a paladin to impress his girlfriend.
He's a secular paladin.
And it's, I guess, in a different time, if I wasn't so cynical already. But again, I'm supposed to want to root for these people, not root for the Nuke or Loki.
This film is not being made for the audience of people who haven't seen the previous films, frankly. If you watched the other films, you probably would have had a better grasp of everyone.
Yes, but Crack.com said that's one of the, I think, 6 or 7 worst arguments about how to justify
I don't give a shit.
Yes, because Crack's always right.
But see, that's the thing, though.
Don't you know, Crack is whacked.
How many times do you say to somebody, yeah, I don't feel like reading the book, I really liked the movie, and that's what counts?
I feel like that's a completely different art form. With this is a sequel to 5 other films. This is a sequel, they've never tried anything like this before.
Well,
This is an event based on the other ones. It's a completely different thing.
I'm not saying that that's bad, because if you're a fan, you were probably, and even if you were only partially a fan, you were probably gripping the front of the seat, the back of the seat in front of you, coming until you're done. I mean, like, I could feel it in the audience. Like, every single, that final fight, every fan was vibrating with squeak. And I'll confess, you know what? The part that really got me was the special effects. The team that animated the Hulk, it looks like they really had fun with it. His movements were fluid and awesome. And that part was that he did draw me in as a character. And like I said, I could feel every little kid in that theater, every adult going, yes, do it. Oh, no, that was like for number 17. Oh my gosh, and that's sort of, oh. And like literally, they're going to have to send in an entire army of people into the theater to mop up all the spooge on the floor. It's not a bad movie, I just didn't like it.
But your comment about the indestructibility, I agree. They should have killed off one of the main hero ones. Unfortunately, they've already greenlit Captain America 2, Thor 2, and Iron Man 3, so that would leave Black Widow and Hawkeye, and frankly, they're the ones who are most likely to die in that sort of situation anyway, so it would be cheap. They really should have killed off Captain America, Thor, or Iron Man.
I wasn't asking for a death.
These sequels in these films, though.
Yeah, so they couldn't have.
Is that going to go in canon with the original, with their own series, or is it going to go in canon with this?
Well, this as well. This is all one cinematic universe.
Okay, so these following sequels are going to be canon with this story.
Yes.
Well, even though we know that Josh Whedon...
Marvel Universe Marvel
Yeah.
Studios is running all of it as
Oh,
one,
okay, good.
one shared universe.
Well, even though we know that Joss Whedon does like to kill off pivotal characters during a movie, Serenity, I'm looking at you.
He tried that with Coulson. That's like the third film he's been in. He's a beloved character in the fans.
I could tell because you looked at me and went, "Oh, it's so sad," and checked to see if I was crying.
Well, I knew that I know you liked Coulson from how you'd reacted to some of the things he did. But he was such a nerd. He was basically you described him as an obsessive Tick fanboy.
He was. He was like, "Oh my gosh, you guys! I got to meet Nostalgia Critic, and I pulled him out of cryo freeze, and it was totally cool. Maybe we'll do a crossover." No, I'm just kidding. Like, I didn't want to see an outright death, but it would have been nice to see, human frailty. And not from Iron Man, though, because you know what? We're reminded of his human frailty basically by the point of his character, is he has a nuclear heart. I wanted to see Thor brought low. Like, I thought when something happened to him in the almost final conflict, that he'd be injured. Like, he'd have to realize, wow, even though I'm a demigod, maybe I'm not indestructible.
Well, he's not a demigod. He's an actual god.
They called him a demigod.
Yeah, Iron Man did.
Oh.
The other ones referred to him as
Well,
God.
whatever.
He is, well, in the Marvel universe,
Or Captain America.
Asgardians are an alien race, but technically, God.
I wanted to see Captain America have his faith tested. Mr. I just got back from the 40s and boy are my cliches tired,
They cut 40 minutes out of the film. And apparently the 40 minutes, most of it concentrates with Captain America. He was originally going to be the point of view character, and there were scenes with him visiting the grave of his girlfriend from World War II and stuff.
Oh, well, that could have, seeing that would have been good.
For an extended cut in DVD. Thor...
We're losing light, and I think this guy wants to park the spot.
Oh.
We rambled on it long enough.
But
Good
with
night.
Thor, I think his wounding. I got the feeling that he was injured, but it wasn't ever remarked on because he was all business.
Yeah, well, that's what we thought, and now you can flame us and troll us, or you can applaud these three and troll me.
I loved it. I want to see Avengers 17. I want to see an Ant-Man movie. I want to see a new Blade movie with Idris Elba.
That would be good.
I want to direct a Union Jack movie set in World War I.
That'd be cool. I'd watch that.
That'd be funny.
So that's it for us, but you'll probably hear more from us later on this weekend.